say to you, the show where being a fraud gets a reward. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a man named Richard who's an adjudicator on a BBC One quiz show. So when I call him Clever Dick, I'm being factual, not rude. From Pointless, Richard Osman. And a comedian and actor whose distinctive looks can only be described as when Goliath ate Rick Mayall. It's Greg Davies! And on Lee Mack's team tonight, a comedian who once told me he was as sane and normal as the next man. Although at the time, he was standing next to Vic Reeves. It's Bob Mortimer! And in Holby City, she murdered people, had affairs with doctors, got pregnant and was attacked by patients. It really was quite an episode. It's Patsy Kensit! And we start with round one. It's Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Greg is first up. Greg, would you reveal all?
At school, I invented a game called Snorkel Parker Music Practice Room.
There we are. Lee's team, what do you think?
What was the game called again?
It was called Snorkel Parker Music Practice Room.
Right, and can you describe the game to us?
Myself and several friends, we all had Snorkel Parkers.
What is a Snorkel Parker for some of the younger viewers?
It's a large hooded coat with a fur-lined collar.
The one that comes out at the front.
Yeah,
and, it's
and you can zip it up so that it comes right up and so that only your eyes are visible. Right.
Can you describe the rules? Imagine we've never met, I've got my Snorkel Parker. What would happen next?
Well, then you and I, Lee, will go to the music practice room when...
I'm not falling for this again.
And you zip up your Snorkel Parker... Yeah. And then you, when someone's practicing their violin with a violin teacher in the music practice room, you duck down below the window, and then you just come up with your Snorkel Parker on.
So just imagine you're a historical reenactment society. You've got your members there.
I suppose.
How would you?
I'd have to fully demonstrate it by using my making an ad hoc.
Feel free to ask
Parker.
Richard and David to help you out on this.
Will you help me out with this?
Well, I mean, you see, this is one of the moments where I don't like having to. All right.
You want to do it?
Yeah, all right. Below our desk. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
So if you imagine that this was the music practice room and there was someone in there having a lunchtime violin lesson, you would wait until they were in mid-tutorial. And
right,
then,
I'm picturing it, yeah.
And then together, after three...
OK, yeah.
1, 2, 3...
Oh.
That's it, really.
Was the secret to getting the fact that they never knew who you were? Because they
wouldn't know who you were because there's only your eyes showing. And he'd tell you to go away, so you would all duck down away, and then you'd leave it for a minute.
And then come back
up. And then you'd just come back up again,
What age were you? Please tell me you weren't one of the teachers.
No, maybe 13, 14.
Right the way through to when you left?
Right through till sixth form, yeah.
You never got told to stop this, or you got...
Yeah, well, they would bang on the window and be really furious with us.
For 5 years, they were banging on the window. They never once thought to come out and say, lads, it's getting really boring.
But you see...
I know you are, Greg, because you're 8'6".
But just out of interest, by show of hands, who would like to play Snorkel Parker Music Practice Room?
I'm quite keen on the game.
I've already played it. I didn't really enjoy it.
It sounds ridiculous. I mean, the last time...
It does sound utterly ridiculous, Greg. It's almost as if you're lying.
Do you think he is lying, Lee? What are you going to say on this one?
Well, I actually believe him. I could just see you doing that for kicks and giggles.
Bob, which way are you leaning with this?
Well, it's got the anticipation, it's got the jeopardy, it's got the lot. What a game!
Greg, something tells me you're going to get a phone call from Waddington's.
If this gets picked up, this is... Just because I've talked about it now, it's mine, right?
It's only yours if you really played it. If it's a lie, then you haven't copyrighted
it. Well, if it is a lie and I've just read it off this thing, whose idea is it?
Well, the person who wrote the lie.
I'd like to maintain the rights to Balaclava Sports Hall. if anyone's interested.
Right, Lee, it's time to take a guess. What are you going to say?
We're going for truth.
You're saying it's true. OK. Greg, were you telling the truth? Or were you telling the truth?
Right, because that would make me utterly pathetic, wouldn't it? Yes, I was telling the truth.
Yes, it's true. Greg did invent a game called Snorkel Parker Music Practice Room. At school, Greg was very popular with the other pupils. Not surprising, really, considering they'd created him in a science lesson. Richard, you're next.
I once buried a badger with the banker from Deal or No Deal.
Lee's team.
I know the programme, but who is that? Who is the banker? We never hear the banker, do we?
No, I'm not allowed to tell. If I told you, I would have to bury you alongside the badger, I'm afraid.
Oh, so the badger found out. Is that what happened to him?
What's burying the badger a euphemism for? This banker, can you describe him to me, please?
Yes, I could do. He's just a guy, like you and I. Somewhere in between you and I.
Which one is it?
Somewhere in the middle.
Why do you know the guy from...
I know that way back when I used to be the producer of Deal or No Deal.
Right, and what's his name?
He is called the banker.
No, what's his real name?
I can't tell you what his real name is.
It's on the credits of the show. Tell us.
What does it say on the credits of the show?
It says the banker as himself.
Why was the badger dead?
Yeah.
We hit it with a car, unfortunately.
What were you doing in the car with him?
About 70. No. We were on holiday together.
Where were you on holiday?
Badger Country, Cornwall.
Was Edmund there? Sorry, I'm not part of this, am I? Sorry.
It's a good question, though, Greg. Was Noel there?
No, it was a holiday.
Before you buried the badger, did we put him in a box and then there were loads of other empty boxes? And then you stood there and you had to choose which box it was. Dead squirrel, wrong box.
I think it's very sad that the badger died and everything.
Yes.
But why so much trouble to dig the grave?
Because the banker's wife was with us.
Oh, can you tell us her name, or does she work for? Does she work for the Iranian government?
What is the name of the banker? Was this during the day or of the evening?
It was late at night.
Had you had a few?
I had a few, yeah.
So you went and got
Were you driving then?
No, I wasn't driving.
Who was driving?
If he's not going to say the name of the banker of Deal or Deal, he's not going on national television go, I was driving, I was mullered.
I say badger, I mean none.
And then what?
The banker's wife then says we should bury it.
The banker's wife. It sounded like Cluedo, this. Go on.
To which the obvious answer is we're not going to bury it. It's 2 in the morning.
Right.
It's really cold and it's dark.
What's happened then?
So the badger is dead.
Right.
Yeah.
Sad occasion. I'm not underestimating the sadness of it. And there's probably a badger wife and badger children at home, so that's...
Are you not allowed to say their names either?
So you checked the gender of the badger then? You know it was a male badger? Or a female badger in a same-sex relationship who've adopted a small badger, perhaps an orphaned badger without a home in need of rest?
Wildly overestimating the sophistication of the badger community.
But what happens next?
We went back, got spades.
Yeah.
Went back to where the badger lay prone, buried it, said a few words.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Just said, Lord, protect this badger. Or words to that effect.
If only you'd have said it an hour earlier. So go on, Lord, protect this badger.
I think I said a few words about the family of the badger and gave some words
Tell
of
us
apology.
the word. I want the words.
I apologise to the family of this badger, wherever they may be, because I'm guessing they're nearby.
Yeah.
Put some stones on it. Went back home. Started drinking again.
So, Lee, what's it going to be? Yeah. Truth or lie?
Oh, I think it's true, Lee.
Bob thinks it's true.
You think it's true? Yeah.
Patsy?
I don't believe the badger bit. I think the badger bit...
That's quite essential to the story. But everything else you believe.
I believe he knows the banker.
Right.
I think he knows the banker's wife.
Well, there's your answer. There's your answer. We think it's true apart from the badger bit.
OK. it's time to make
Well,
your
it's
mind
true.
up.
It's true.
You're saying it's true. Richard, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
I was telling the truth.
Yes, it's true. Richard did bury a badger with the banker from Deal or No Deal. Patsy, you're up next.
When I was younger, I was regularly paid to babysit Marvin, my neighbour's pet dog, who had died and been stuffed.
David's team.
Right. So that you were babysitting the dog only post-mortem?
Yes, after he died.
What did your duties involve?
Well, they were elderly people. They'd leave out, like, food and water. And what I used to do, because I felt so sorry for them, was I would sort of pour a bit of the water away and, like, half the food and stick it in, you know, the rubbish under some kitchen or...
So they come back to, you see?
Yeah, he's alive.
He is alive.
They thought the dog was alive, did they?
Well, no, they can't have, but they behaved... I mean, it was a very unusual family, and she had pictures, framed pictures of him when he was alive and when he was stuffed.
How do you know the difference? The photographs?
Because it wasn't a good stuffing.
I suppose the stuff one, he always looked exactly the same wherever he was.
Yeah, his expression didn't change much.
What sort of dog had Marvin been before?
Yorkshire Terrier.
Right. And we had
a Yorkshire Terrier called Pepper, who was alive, I'd like to say.
That was rubbing their nose in it, wasn't it?
Stuffed peppers.
But our dog... dog was, like, totally untrained. I mean, adorable, but...
Whereas Marvin was so well behaved.
What position was Marvin stuffed in? What was...
Standing.
Did he have a facial expression? If there was any kind of emotion coming
like
from...
This, like that.
So, like he was angry. Like he died in a battle.
Maybe he was stuffed to death.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
If I had a stuffed dog that was stood up, I'd put one of its legs in a bucket, then I'd always know where that bucket was.
What do you think, David? Which way are you leaning on this?
It sounds quite convincing.
You're convinced?
Well, I think it's impressively told if it's a lie.
I think impressively told. A lot of the detail...
You're not an actress, are you, Patsy?
A lot of people say I'm not, actually. So.
Well, I think it's a lie.
My instinct is it's the truth. We're going to say it's true.
You're saying it's true. OK.
Oh, no.
Patsy Kensit, were you telling us the truth or were you telling us a lie?
That story was a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Patsy wasn't regularly paid to babysit her neighbour's stuffed pet dog. So at the end of that round, Lee's team are in the lead by 3 points to 0.
Well done, team. Well done.
Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So, please welcome this week's special guest, Pauline. So, Richard, what is Pauline to you?
This is Pauline. Last year we met at a Snoop Dogg gig and we bonded because we were the two oldest fans in the room.
David, how do you know Pauline?
This is Pauline. When I was a cub, she was the Arcala, and she had to take me out of the scout hut once for asking too many questions when we were being given a talk by the police.
And finally, Greg, your relationship with Pauline?
This is Pauline. She's my mum. She once drove past me when I was having my first fight and got out of her car to cheer me on.
Lee's team, where'd you start?
Greg, how old were you on this first fight?
12.
Right. And so where was this? At school?
No.
Where was it?
Outside...
Outside the music room?
It was in a street.
In the street?
Yeah.
Who were you fighting?
I honestly can't remember his name. He was a lad, and he was in the year above me. And I remember he had fairly distinctive red hair.
Is that why you fought him?
I fought him because he'd fought one of my friends.
Oh, OK, so this was like a...
Revenge.
You were like doing a heroic gesture.
Yeah.
And he was older than you?
Yes.
What was your friend called?
Well, I'm from Shropshire, so he was called Chinese Dave.
Is everyone called Chinese Dave in Shropshire?
No, I just think he was called Chinese Dave, and I honestly don't know the reason, because he certainly wasn't Chinese. I think it's because he used to wear a hat.
No, that would be it. That would be it.
That'll be it, probably.
What was your fighting technique, do you recall?
It was a sort of windmill of bones. Just like this.
Windmill of bones? I give you the windmill of bones!
What was your mum shouting at you by way of encouragement?
I mean, as I recall, it was just get in there.
Do him, yeah.
Get in there, son, is what I...
And was she there the first time you had sex?
This was in the street. Your mum was driving.
Yeah.
Past you. Saw you.
She knew about the attack on Chinese...
Dave,
yeah. Who wears a hat.
So I presume she saw what was going on and thought, oh, it's good that my son is avenging Chinese Dave's...
So, did she get out of the car or just do it from the window? Was it a drive-by?
No, she got out.
Who didn't win the fight? Did your mum then... Surely she stepped in and stopped it, or did she say, keep fighting?
Well, let me tell you, Patsy, the fight came to a fairly abrupt end.
Why?
And I'm going to give you some very specific detail now.
Thank you.
Because I was chewing polos during the fight.
Please, no, you're not going to try and convince us that they came out and your mum thought it was teeth.
Hear me out. I got caught in their mouth, and literally I spat polos everywhere. And my mum went, oh no, it's teeth, it's teeth!
What's your mum called?
Pauline.
Has she got a nickname, like Heckling Pauline or anything?
No, although I would tell you, she has an impressive history, because she was in a play fight with my dad once, and he locked himself in a toilet, and to get to him in the play fight, my mum punched a hole through a door. So there's obviously a violent streak in this one. It is true, though. It's definitely true. That is my mum.
Who's next? Who are you going to do next?
OK, so we'll go with David, shall we?
Yes.
David, just let me recap. Am I right in saying that there was a talk by the police at the Cubs?
Yeah.
And you asked one too many questions to the policeman?
Yes, I was full of questions.
What kind of questions were you asking?
Well, I was asking about various, issues involved in fighting crime.
How old were you?
I think I was about 8.
Right. What kind of crime-fighting questions were you asking?
Well, there was a problem, I felt. There was a problem with vandalism and graffiti in the area.
At that age, you're supposed to be taking part rather than complaining about it. That's OK. Different upbringings, that's fine. What are the questions?
I asked a lot about the locks in Cagney and Lacey. I was, at the time, very aware of the security measures in all of those flats in New York and the big locks on the doors. And I said, why don't we have locks like that? And how can we keep burglars out if we don't have locks like that?
Right.
And the policeman was saying how you can't keep out a determined burglar. And I was saying, well, why do we lock the doors at all, then? But I wasn't really aware that he was supposed to be trying to get on with the talk, and the questions would happen at the end, and maybe they wouldn't all be asked by me.
Where was this Cubs?
It was in Headington.
Headington?
Where I grew up.
Well, I know that. I don't think you travelled.
Yeah.
I assumed it was where you lived, otherwise that would be bonkers. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Newcastle, but that ain't
No, my parents had heard about a very good Cub Scout group about 400 miles away, and they thought about driving me there to get the very best training in the time. Absolutely. But
what badges did you get, David?
Don't talk about badges in front of Richard. Richard, remind us once again of your truth.
Pauline and I met at a Snoop Dogg gig.
Oh, where was he playing?
It was at the Forum in Kentish Town.
When was this? What year?
Last year.
Last year.
So he was called Snoop Dogg because he's been called a lot of things.
Well, he certainly has. In the olden days, he was Snoop Doggy Dogg, but now just Snoop Dogg.
But whereabouts were you in the Forum? Whereabouts were you watching the show from?
Well, we met when there was a delay, as there often is at rap concerts. There's sort of an hour delay, so I went up to the little bar.
Why is there a delay?
Well, because it's Snoop. You don't rush Snoop.
Who supported him? Did he have a support act?
Yeah, Corrupt.
What was
with a K.
With a K, wow.
With a K.
I'd have left after then.
What was his hair like, Snoop's?
Snoop's?
How was he wearing his hair?
He was wearing his hair, he had sort of cornrows. essentially.
He knows all the words, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's definitely read up on this.
Yeah. And so you guys, your eyes met across the...
No, in this delay, I went up to... There's a little quieter bar upstairs, and I went up there to play a bit of Scrabble on my phone.
Oh, come
Because I was with younger people, and they were enjoying the support act. They were enjoying the fact that there was a delay and there was loud music playing. I was enjoying it less.
Yeah.
Pauline was reading a book.
Right.
So I thought, OK, she's quite bored as well of this thing. So, anyway, I'm playing my thing. She said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm playing Scrabble on my phone. She said, I didn't know you could play Scrabble on a phone. Right. So I showed her, and then we started playing Scrabble on a phone, have done ever since. And then...
Ever since? Well, you're going out with each other now.
You know what, Lee? Early days. Okay.
Have you actually met up with Maureen since?
Pauline.
You're not going to be able to dissect us with those blunt little...
So, Lee, where's this leading you? What are you thinking, Lee?
Patsy, do we believe any of these people? Because they're all sounding chronically untrue.
The Chronic, of course, was one of the first albums Snoop was on. Dr.
Why
Dre's
did
The
you...
Chronic.
I could see David in his cub shorts and being worried about the graffiti. He's sort of the sort of person that it would have upset him. And
I'm intrigued by this slight physical resemblance between Greg and the lady.
I know what you mean, yeah. Do you mind standing up, Greg, again? Would you stand next to this lady you claim to be your mother?
Next to my mum?
Well, let's call her a woman for now. Right. Now... I'm guessing, for this mean average to work out, your dad is the Jolly Green Giant.
No, but you see, Lee, it's a fact that a son has to be taller than their mum.
It's either Richard or Greg, I think. So that's my answer.
So you think it's...
I think it's Richard.
You think it's Richard? You think it's Richard or Greg?
Yeah.
Don't
Tim
forget
said Richard.
What are you going to say?
The Scout hat one,
sorry, are you still here?
The Scout hat.
OK, I need an answer, and I really do need it now.
We're going for David. He's trying to double bluff me at the end, so I'm going to go with
saying
David.
It's David.
And if it is David, I'll be so happy now.
You're saying it's David?
I think it's David.
OK, Pauline, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Pauline. I am Greg's mother. And...
Yes, Pauline is Greg's mum, and she did cheer him on when he had his first ever fight. It must have been awful to see him fighting.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Pauline.
You're welcome.
So at the end of that round, Lee's team are in the lead by 3 points to 1. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Live. And we start with... Bob.
I can break an apple in half with my bare hands.
David's team.
What is your technique?
I take it in the hands.
Yes. Are your hands bare at this point?
Of course they're bare.
Yes.
Friction's very much part of this this equation. You must pull it, I'm going to say east to west. A lot of people think you need to twist. You don't need to twist.
You don't need to twist.
Really?
You just
don't need to
pull apart.
Pull it apart.
How do you get the
Pull the
grip?
apple apart?
Yeah.
Won't your hands just slide away from it? I'd have thought you'd need to twist.
If you twist, you fail. Twisting equals tears.
So you just grip the apple in your hands and then fling them apart, and you have 2 half apples.
No, I rip it apart.
Yeah.
The way you were miming it then, there's like downward pressure from the thumbs, almost as if you're trying to open it like a book.
Yeah.
Is that what it's like? Because I can believe that more than the just grip, bang!
Yes. No, David, that's fair enough. Yes.
It's just you're almost like you insert...
Oh, but I so wish it was bang. It's not.
No, you're inserting the thumbs to try and pull it apart that way.
No insertion.
All right.
No,
but
that's
downward
the grip.
pressure.
Downward pressure. And there it is.
Yeah. So where are the thumbs? Are the thumbs either side of the stalk?
You know where the thumbs are, David.
Where are the thumbs either side of the stalk?
Yes.
No insertion or penetration?
No, absolutely not. No, the thumbs are used for gripping, not for ripping. That's what I was talking about. And if you remember that...
The system comes with a catchphrase.
If you can remember that, you too will be parting apples.
How long have you done this for?
I have done it for a long time. What I used to do to entertain was I used to take hard-boiled eggs, peel them, I can still do it, and I could take the shell off in one. And you actually peel the membrane rather than trying to... Don't be all rough-handed and don't, take your time. Off it comes bang.
And when did you...
That's the correct way to present. With an apple, it's this.
When did you first discover that you could do the apple? How did it come about? How did it come to be?
I can't remember the first time I did it. I can remember the feeling. But I can't remember the first time I did it.
What was the feeling?
The feeling was magnificent.
Right, David, is that the truth?
I don't think so, but it could be. Can we leave it at that?
Yeah, that's fine. OK, on to the next round. No, we can't.
I agree with that. I'd love to see him do... I hope it's true, because then they'll make him do it.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see it.
Yeah. If it's not true...
Make him do
make
it anyway.
Try?
So what's it going to be?
Oh, I really want it to be true, but it isn't true, I don't think.
You can't pull an apple apart, can you?
You can't just rip it in half. I so want you to be able to.
If you and I can't, sure.
And I can't.
I've never tried.
Have you ever tried?
If I had an apple here, and I could have a few
But I think
goes.
if those two can't do it, David, with no disrespect, it's highly unlikely you're going to pull it off.
Tremendously, frighteningly strong hands, as I found out to my own cost. So you think it's a lie, then?
I'm afraid I do,
OK,
yeah.
well, I'll go with the Giants.
You're going to say it's a lie? All right, you're saying it's a lie. Bob, were you telling the truth, or were you telling a lie?
I was telling the truth.
Yes. Well, guess what I've got under the desk? My trusty box of apples. It's a proper apple. Ready, yes. Bob?
It's a big one.
Thank you. Not you, him.
Does your husband play cricket?
I love that sort of thing. Where shall I do it?
I really hope he can't do it. Yeah!
Whoa! And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show, and I can reveal that Lee's team have won by 4 points to 1. But it's not just a team game, and my individual liar of the week this week is Richard Osman. Yes, Richard Osman. He's nothing but a liar, which means that the thousands of people who lost on Pointless, thanks to his adjudication skills, can now seek compensation. Good night.